Alright, let's talk about the Devil May Cry anime on Netflix. I want to get this review out of the day it dropped, but hey, exams exists, and apparently they are more terrifying than some demons. So fashionably late, here we are. Also because I'm not exactly eager to get copyright struck into oblivion that faster than Dante blows his entire red orb stash on the first cool looking sword combo he sees, I won't be using the clips for the anime. Feel free to listen while you are doing something else. Like contempting why Vergil doesn't pay child support. Let's rip the band-aid off right away. Is this new anime better than the 2007 one? Probably not. I still revisit scenes from the 2007 anime occasionally. Some scenes just hit different. This new Netflix series hasn't quite given me those must-rewatch vibes yet. Maybe it needs more time, or a better director. For some background archaeology, this anime was actually announced way back in 2018, even before Devil May Cry 5 was officially revealed. Then, a silence until 2024. It felt like waiting for a pizza delivery that takes 6 years. I honestly forgot it was even happening until some non-trailer news dropped in summer 2024. I am no animation expert, but a 6-year gap usually signs, well, let's just say it's not a typical sign of smooth development, in my opinion. My wild conspiracy theory is, maybe the Netflix team literally didn't know Devil May Cry 5 was being made. Then the trailers finally started rolling in late 2024. My hype levels begin to drop faster than my health bar when I get hit in Dante Must Die. Each new glimpse felt less Devil May Cry and more generically American action show. You could almost hear the eagle screeches. Now, you might think they are just trying to attract new fans. Sure, but Devil May Cry isn't some fresh-faced rookie. It is a 24-year-old franchise with deep roots. It doesn't deserve a generic makeover. Initially, I thought the first trailer hinted at adapting the Devil May Cry 3 manga. Seriously, those mangas need way more love. Then 2 months before release, they dropped the opening. Seeing bits from Devil May Cry 1 through 5 cramped in there made me wonder how they would possibly fit it all. I braced myself for a rushed mess where nothing gets proper development. Turns out that wasn't quite the problem. Instead we got something arguably worse. We got catfished. Yeah, the opening was basically false advertising. We saw Nero's sword and the Order of the Sword logo, but Nero himself isn't mentioned in the anime. Or the Mundus, the big bad. 1 second flashback. We also saw Lucia's blades. Same deal. Blink and you miss her. It felt less like fanservice and more likely just Google Devil May Cry characters and throw them into a blender for the intro. They didn't just fail at fanservice. They barely even tried. Seriously, we got scammed. Let's talk about characters. And for short, oh boy, we got a huge mess. The best character was easily the White Rabbit, right up until his identity reveal, which landed with the excitement of discovering you are bad at Devil May Cry games. Just think about all those flashbacks hinting Arkham. But nope, just some random dude we have never seen before. Why dangle the Arkham connection if you are just going to use a random guy? They even dedicated a whole episode to this guy's backstory, which felt about as necessary as a Logitech gamepad on a submarine. I can't even remember his name. Credit where it's due to the art style shift between the human and demon worlds in that episode was a neat idea. Shame the demon world style didn't quite fit. And the Alice in the Wonderland references? Look, I like the book, but the constant White Rabbit theme in media is getting old. However, Dante's quip about the playing cards when facing White Rabbit, that was actually good. That actually got a genuine positive reaction from me. One of the 2 times this entire series mentioned that. And the other time is Vergil uttering the iconic I am that storm line. About Vergil, we first see him giving his blood to White Rabbit to break the seal. My first thoughts was, that Devil Trigger design looks awful. It's barely better than entire Devil May Cry 2. And Dante's Devil Trigger design isn't much better. Then we see Vergil again in the final. My internal monologue went something like this. Is that Nello Angelo? Okay, maybe they can still save the Devil Trigger design, since this isn't his true form. Is Vergil willingly working for Mundus? The real Vergil wouldn't do that. Maybe Mundus offered a better director for the anime. This anime doesn't just mispresent Devil May Cry, it's actually betray its core characters. I have to bite my tongue even calling her a lady. Speaking of character assassination, let's talk about Lady. This isn't the compelling woman from the games. This is an obnoxious, full-mouthed teenager stuck in a permanent state of angst. She swears more than a lonely orphan reminded of their solitude on Mother's and Father's Day. Just compare how she recounts Sparta's legend in Devil May Cry 3 and the anime. This difference is painful. Calling this character Lady feels like an insult to one of my favorite characters in gaming. And then there is Dante, supposedly the main character, though he often felt sidelined. But props to John Young-Bosch for the voice work. He does a good job, even if it took some getting used after Ruben Langdon became Dante in my head. This Dante isn't unrecognizable like DMC reboot version, thankfully. You can squint and say yeah, that's mostly our boy. He even got a few chuckles out of me. As for the rest of the characters, they are mostly forgettable. Removing them wouldn't change much in the anime. Except maybe the vice president. But I would personally erase him from existence because he was too annoying. Also, what was Nightwing doing here? Now about that Americanization I mentioned. When White Rabbit started spouting lines about America in the first episode, I thought, oh boy, here we go. I expected God Bless America playing constantly, eagles soaring in every shot, and the final featuring Dante grabbing a $1.50 dog combo from Costco. Thankfully, while there were definitely some America fuck yeah undertones like the US military literally nuking the hell in the final, it wasn't completely overbearing. Still, AdiShankar, wasn't he Indian? Maybe he was just trying really hard for that US citizenship. Okay, let's be real. It is Netflix tackling a beloved franchise, so naturally my expectations were subterranean. Two main nightmares haunted me. First, that they would cram it full of the obligatory Vogue checklist garbage nobody asked for, probably giving rebellion pronouns or some shit. Second, that they would sanitize the hell out of the violence until it was suitable for sensitive toddlers. Shockingly, they managed to avoid both disasters. No awkward lectures on demon intersectionality wedged in, and they actually let the blood flow. Musics are terrible. Using Devil Trigger for Dante is already grounds for dismissal, but I might let it slide even though I shouldn't. But they didn't even use the original tracks. These new remixes sound wrong. The only exception was the Devils Never Cry playing over the end credits. That was actually good. So, the anime did boost Devilmaycry's popularity, which is something, but there is a new danger on the horizon. The horde of the newbies who might start putting Dante's in the same category as Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. Jujutsu Kaisen's fans are some kind of weirdos. We need to defeat Devilmaycry's honor. We lost Lady Gaga to cringe Jujutsu Kaisen edits. We cannot lose Devilmaycry. And I like Lady Gaga, don't judge.